Hey guys, Max here. So when season one dropped, Reina announced in his video he's not going to be doing any more patch notes because they want it to be like a surprise for the players. Me personally, I kind of feel like I'm crazy when I'm not sure if an item was changed or not. I'm like, was this how it was before? Am I going crazy? So I kind of like having patch notes in my games. Um, so there's this website called How the Bazaar GG, and it goes over all the changes in between patches, as you can see here. We had a hot fix a lot since April 2nd, which is when the season dropped, I think. Um, and things have been steadily changing. Overall, Mac was really strong when he first came out, but they've been balancing him, and the game seems pretty in a pretty good spot to me at least. I've not been playing all that much, honestly, and I have some concerns about like character identities kind of being everyone's feels is starting to feel more and more similar to me, which I don't like. I like when characters have very clear identities in their kits. But anyways, so let's look at over some of the changes for today's hotfix or yesterday's hotfix at this point. Um, just gonna quickly hover. A lot of these are pretty small. I did notice that energy potion was like nerfed in like three different ways. Um, they nerfed the enchantment on it, and they nerfed the cooldown on it. When you slow, burn three. Burn three. Okay. Oh, they nerfed earrings too. Okay. All right. Yesterday's patch notes. Let's go over them. Apothecary was slightly buffed. Still not going to be a great item. This item, if I'm not mistaken, it's every time you freeze, burn, or whatever. I wish you could see. This is why I like their patch notes. You can click on the item and like see. What does this do? Copy link. Okay. When you haste, slow, poison, it's like drill. It charges for 1 second, then it gives you regen. And at the start of each day, it gives you a reagent. Um, Overall, I'm not the biggest fan of regen, but this could be a cool charge item if you synergize it with other things. If you enchant it or something, but it is a large. So currently, last time I played, Mac had like two really strong builds. Vat was still disgusting, and Spider Mace charge builds are pretty good. I mean, just the little poison fields. I forget what it's called. Poppy fields plus mace plus a couple other stuff, and you just get a pretty cool charge going. Everything else felt way too slow, or you were just too squishy. And yeah, a lot of things just feel too slow in this game. It's almost like a power creep. But okay, Athenor starting tier. It was removed from bronze. It reloads adjacent potions, which is what I suggested they did at the start. So there we go. It has been changed to that. And the burn was buffed. Whoa, the burn was really buffed. It was doubled, in fact. Still gonna be a pretty good item. Enchantment, shiny, adjacent potions have multicast. That's a pretty big nerf. Oh well. Dragon's Breath, an item that you never used past day 4. Normally, I mean, I use it sometimes when I had nothing else, but it felt quite bad. It's every time you use a dragon or adjacent item, it gains burn, and then it goes off and it burns for a lot, but it has a really slow cooldown. Floor Spike, I'm assuming there's going to nerf all the charge numbers. This is something that you sometimes used with Spider Mace builds. It's every time you use a weapon, it charged and it poisoned and hit. Goop Flail was the shiny version was nerfed. I haven't seen this item used ever. I'm not sure how you stack up damage on Mac to use it. I'm gonna explain all these items actually. Goop Flail, it is like a 12-second cooldown item, something like that. Gloop, Goop. 10 seconds at diamond. I don't know that. And it does poison equal to its damage. So if it does 20 damage, it swings 3 times and it hits for 60 poison. Cool, I guess. It's large and it's slow. and the damage isn't that high. So it's kind of, you have to like solve too many problems to make it good. But the shiny version apparently had it made it get Giga multicast. Shame that's gone. But might be overpowered, I guess. I don't know. Leeches, 1 second cooldown. That's good. This item was pretty useless. It's a lifesteal item, and every time you poison, it gain damage, right? Yep, so it just permanently gains up damage, but it's really slow, but it's pretty good early on for just keeping you alive. That's the biggest thing on Mac, is that he does pretty good damage, and I feel like he's definitely stronger than most characters when it comes to just damage, just from small items and value, but he's super squishy, and he doesn't have any shield, and his defensive options are pretty lacking, which is it's fine. You know, every character doesn't need everything. Library. A lot of enchantment changes here. Have I used this item before? Let me look. I've used it once in a weird looping build with small items. It didn't work super well though. It's a pretty good item if you can make it work. Anything that increases your opponent's cooldowns, super good. But now all the enchantment changes when you use. Oh, thank God they changed. Some of these items had, when you fall below half health, gain 180 shield. Wow. Okay. Awesome. It was a really bad enchantment, and they changed it to when you use a non-weapon, which is what I assumed it was going to be in the beginning. But now this actually is a pretty good item to enchant. Hourglass has that same issue where it's like when you enchant it, when you fall below half health, it shields you for 40 health. Wow. Incredible. Magic Carpet buffed. Weird. I thought this item was already really strong early on. Its bronze is 50 damage, silver is 100. It just has like a lot of damage for, a medium item. You just slap it in, good value. And then late game, I keep trying to play Magic Carpet. It's just too slow. It's like really bad Atwell. It's like if Atwell had to wait for like 4 weapons to go off before it was 1 second. AKA if it was like, a little bit more balanced, but it's a very fast meta in this game. You don't have the time for these things. Philosopher's Stone gained a relic tag, I guess. Cool. More relics. That's good. Flagglaive, enchantment changes. Huge nerfs for the freeze. Huge nerfs for the slow. Huge nerfs for the haste. Weird. I thought this item, like, it was usable. This item has multicast based on how much poison they have. Pull it up here. But it has a really long cooldown again, 10 seconds. And even when it does go off, it's not like you're going to insta-kill them. So if you have 100 poison, if you somehow have a cool build that puts 100 poison on them, it goes off 5 times. Whoopee! And it's a large item, so all the spots you're using to use this, it has lifesteal on it too. But all the spots you're using for this, you could be using on your poison build to proc more, but it had its uses. It's it's an interesting item. Anything of multicast is pretty interesting in this game. But I've tried to use it a couple of times, and those builds didn't go super far, but it was a good addition. Poppy Field, kind of the star of all the Spider Mace builds. Every time you use a weapon, it poisons, so it procs poison a bunch. In Spider Mace, it charges every time you apply poison, so, and it's a weapon. You get the idea. Let's see, some enchantment nerfs looks like it. When you use a weapon, heal equal to 10 times this item's poison. When you use a weapon, heal 0. Yeah, that must be a bug. It was probably a flat number. These could be buffs technically, but it doesn't matter too much. Just slight number nerfs on the enchantment. Okay. I don't really get the point of having large items have weaker enchantments than small items. It just seems like they're going to be enchantments equal in strength to small items. That's maybe the design philosophy they're trying out. We'll see how that feels. Recycling bin. This item felt absolutely like garbage to me. So let's see what changes they nerf the slow, they nerf the freeze, they nerf the haste. That seems to be like a massive change on all the enchantments for all the max items. Maybe all the items in the game actually, but it just seems mainly Mac focused. When you use a potion, shield equal to 10 times this item's regeneration. That is a slight buff, but I was hoping it'd be equal to your regeneration, because this item, maybe it's okay early on in the game, and then I don't know how you would ever use it. Every time you use a potion, it recycles it and gives you a new potion, basically giving you infinite ammo on potions. But the issue is that there's a bunch of really weak slow potions that do a whole bunch of nothing, and there's not that many defensive potions to keep you alive to keep gaining value. The regeneration you gain is kind of nice, but it's not enough, and the enchantments on it are also not only enough. I had one run of this and I just understood. Runic daggers buff, runic double bow buff, all by 1 seconds. Nice. All the crit items are being buffed. I think they would be strong if everything else is weaker, but I don't think they need to be buffed really. I think it's a problem with the game just being a little bit too fast right now. Or maybe because Mac is a squishy class, it just feels like that. It's hard to say. Satchel now actually scales cooldown when you upgrade it, but oh, that's a huge nerf. It doesn't scale. Oh wait, no. They kept the regeneration gain increasing, and they actually buffed it. So now if you have a diamond satchel, every time you buy a potion, it increases its regeneration by 6 instead of 3. That's pretty strong. Definitely could see some cool satchel builds with a 6-second cooldown. Interesting. Cool item, I like it. But I don't really understand why Mac has like items that scale with you purchasing things. Is that just like a global mechanic? I thought that was a Pygmalion only thing because he's a merchant class. You know? That's I don't particularly like that. Secret formula. Cool introduction. No one ever uses that item. Who cares? Smelling salts. One of the best ways to haste on Mac. And it has slow. Slow is one of the few defensive options he has. And they got some enchantment nerfs. Holy. Okay. Well deserved though. It would proc an enchantment every time you use slow, so it's good synergy. Spider Mace. I'm guessing they reduced the charge? No. Increase the cooldown by 2 seconds, so that's 1 extra charge needed. Still not a big deal, especially if items that reduce your maximum cooldown by a percentage, like Hourglass, being pretty easy to obtain on Mac. There's another one, but I can't remember the name. The damage was nerfed, but it's not. This item, like the damage doesn't matter. It's just going off infinitely. So, yeah, freeze. Okay, haste. Haste still for 2 seconds. It still hastes longer than the large items that we saw above. That makes no sense to me. Whatever. Staff of Moose, 3-second cooldown reduction. That's pretty good. Flat damage now. Buff to the silver version. Ooh, the no damage taken is being increased. That's the strongest part of this item about this item, in my opinion, is that at diamond you get 2 seconds of invulnerability, and you gain a scaling amount of regeneration. This item would be really cool for some kind of like one-hit build where you gain a bunch of regen, but I just haven't been able to make that work yet. So, oh, but they nerfed the weapon damage part. Oh, you used to gain 3 times your regeneration as damage on your weapons, which is why you kind of could make a one-hit build with it. But now that's gone completely. Okay, never mind. I don't understand. This probably is just there for 2 seconds of invulnerability. The 75 regen late game is useless because you're being burned for like 1,000 damage. So I don't know what purpose this item serves now. I guess it's just a value item if you find it early on. The Tome, the first time you fall below half health, deal 120 damage. Obsidian enchantment. Okay. And Viper Cane. A cool item that is very rarely used. Received a slight buff. And the Flame Dancer skill is buffed. Okay. Really small minor patch. But I more just wanted to talk about the philosophy, I guess, of them just going to be constantly doing small patches and changing things throughout the game. Personally, I don't like it as much as having a big patch and like exploring stuff and like trying to theorize builds and like, I don't like that I have to go to like a third party website to figure out what changes are happening in my game. But I guess if they spend less time on this, they can spend more time on other things. So there's definitely other things I prefer being changed about the game. With Mac being out, I wish there was a more larger focus on the reagent part of the character, the part that's unique to him, and less focus on items that he shares with other classes and that they don't feel super unique. Like Dooley felt super unique to me, and Pig felt super unique to me with his identity. Mac just isn't hitting that flavor node for me as much. I don't feel like I'm winning with by stacking value on a property as a merchant. I don't feel like I'm having much of companion cores and stuff as Dooley. I don't like have the technology. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Let me know what you guys think. The items very flavorful, but the actual interactions and the outcomes of the character, not so much. I didn't feel super. The most flavor there was when Athenor was busted and you just put a bunch of potions down and you chuck them at people. But I don't want to be just chucking potions at people. I want to be performing alchemy. I want to be like, mixing stuff and creating items. I do like the reagent part of the character quite a bit. I hope they improve on it. That's about it. Currently the way to transform items feels pretty limited. You just have to kind of hope to find that encounter, or there's a couple items that do it, but then they always make potions, and you're always getting small items, so you're just gonna end up playing a spider mace build most of the time because you just enchant a small item. You see like a heavy, you just get a slow spider mace or viper, and then you're set. The crit package is okay. It's cool, but I don't really, it doesn't fit Mac that much. The relic package, the relic items, I don't know how you're ever gonna use. There's like a Covetous Raven. When you use another relic or enchanted item, charge this 2 seconds. I don't think there's enough items to actually make use of this. Along with Laboratory, could be okay if it did something else. It has really good enchantments, but I hope they add more relics. There is more relics in here, but it feels like some things are missing. But yep, that's about it. Hope you guys are enjoying the game. I'm playing a lot of PoE right now, not as much Bazaar. But next big patch, I'll be back.